and welcome to a new video. As you can tell, the setting is a bit different, but you will be seeing what the project that I'm going to be talking about is actually going to look like on the ground as I go through. The main point of me being here is to show you the scope of the size of this project. It's absolutely massive. It's a game changer, not only in Kenya. This one is going to be a game changer in Africa. It is located in Kibwezi. I had the chance to go down there and see all the incredible work that's going on. This is one of the projects that we have taken on from the ground. When we first visited, it was just a big piece of land, and our client has these big dreams, and we felt like it was a perfect match because that's exactly what we're trying to do as a company. Another thing that you need to know is this is someone's dream home. This is the home that they're going to live in after retirement. So all the things that we've done are catering specially to that. We're making sure that we're giving the client everything that they'll ever need for as long as they're going to live there. So with that said, let's get into a bit more detail about what this project is actually going to look like. So let's begin. Here I have a render, which is a representation of what our ideas are. Obviously, this is not the final of what the project's going to look like, but it's such a good way for me to stand here and talk you through what our vision is. With such a huge piece of land, we want the drive-in or anywhere you're walking to be quite the experience. We want it to be very luxurious. So we've made sure that when you drive in, you're able to go and be greeted by this water fountain in front of the house. I've always talked about how water is such a calming feature in all the properties that we do, but I've also talked about how that also comes in with a lot of plumbing. So when you see us putting in fountains and multiple pools, rest assured the Fine Urban Construction Interiors has made sure to work with the best plumbers to make sure that we're not wasting any water and that everything is flowing well so that we're not creating a problem for the client. We want them to feel calm and welcome, whether it's them driving in or any of their guests. So you'll be able to drive in and either go down into the underground parking area. I don't know if I mentioned this, but this house has an entire basement that will include an underground club. You'll have your parking, you'll have storage. It's going to be a whole experience nicely tucked away. So you'll drive in, get a view of that fountain, either drop the person off that you're dropping off to get into the house, or continue on your journey and go into the parking. It's such a nice and easy way for someone to navigate this massive property, and that also allows us to have so much space to play around with that river. And I have to say, in this setting, the renders are not really achieving the vision. This is like a rough draft of what we're trying to do, but I guarantee you that river is going to be much bigger and it will play a bigger role in terms of the experience of driving through this property. So here you can see we have a couple of footbridges. Because that river is actually going to be bigger in real life, we're going to include an automated bridge where you can actually drive over so that this path will directly intertwine with that artificial river so that you're getting that experience as you're driving through. So the idea here is you'll have the controls. The client will have the control. So no one is able to really access this property while driving unless the client is directly involved in that. So let's say you have a key fob or some sort of button that you can press and then drive over, and then you have this complete view of the property and enjoying all those things that we put in as a company. So what have we done with the front lawn? We've included a artificial river. We've made sure to include multiple spots where people can lounge, as you can see represented here in the render. We've made sure that it's accessible even with having that river there. We've included pathways where you could walk and access different parts. But what you might not be able to see on this render is that on this side, over where the people are sitting, there's an area where it has been dug out and they'll have a huge water tank. One of the main things that we don't like to do is to leave a client with an issue of water. We all know how tough it can be to get water in Kenya in several different areas in this country, but Kibwezi is particularly hot, so that is an occurrence that is likely to happen. So with this being someone's retire home and dream home, we want to make sure that if ever there's a chance that there's no water and we've put in all these water features, they will never have an issue with that. So we've made sure to include a massive water tank, so that is never something that will cross the client's mind, like lacking water. Another thing that we do want to do, just to continue the theme of making the most out of the views, is including a gazebo on the property as well. That is another fine urban touch that we like to include. And when you have a piece of land this big, you know you have enough room for that, so that if you're having a private party, definitely you have the option of having it on your main house or making it a bit more personal and taking it to the gazebo. So with all these features and the inclusion of making sure things feel really green, matching with the environment, and adding in the hedges and the trees, that is a space that will definitely invoke a sense of luxury, not maybe in the traditional way that we might think of it, but in such a natural way that fits in perfectly with the environment and of course matches the client's needs. This is a manor or an estate. It is massive, and I'm so glad that I get to be back here and show you guys exactly what we have in store for this huge piece of land and these amazing views. So I will be joined by the engineer to give us a bit more of an idea of what's happening here. So I'll just call him over.
My name is Nyakundi Justin. I'm the engineer in charge of this project. As you can see, we are at the basement level. We're trying to develop the foundation and the system of columns. So I'll take you through if you wish.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm so ready to go in and take a look.
Come on.
Man, I have to say, I need to get better prepared to actually come on site. Having to do all those mini jumps and climbing, I was not prepared, but I guess that's what you expect when a project is this massive.
Yes, welcome to this site.
So this is what it's like when everybody is here, busy at work, making sure that everything is solid and straight and is being done 100%.
Yes, that's for sure.
So what I want is to get a better understanding of what is happening here, because as I'm looking around, I've seen some images, I've seen some of the plans, but like as I'm here looking around, I cannot tell left from right, up from down. First of all, how many stories? How many stories are we looking at?
It depends if you're American or British, but this is 2 stories.
Yes.
So we have a basement, ground level, first floor, and the roof level.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Can you give me an idea of what I'm looking at over on that side?
Okay. If I give you the general view first, where we are standing is a basement level. And then we have the ground level there.
Yeah.
Although that ground level is a little bit lower than the ground level of this section.
Oh yeah, I can definitely tell.
Yes.
That part of it seems a bit higher, just a little bit, and here it seems like we've dug much deeper.
Yes.
Yeah?
This is a very big house, so we have to support it with frames. Frames are just a set of columns and beams.
Yes.
So what you can see here are columns starting from the foundation going up. So as you can see, somebody approaches and goes into the basement. There will be a nice ramp coming in.
Yeah.
And that is at the basement level.
I feel like you're underplaying what's going on here. You said someone can approach. The way I've understood that drive into this, what I can only call an estate. I don't even feel mansion is the correct word.
Yes.
This is an estate. This is a manor. This is the size of a shopping mall.
Yes.
So from my understanding, that drive-through is going to be one of the most luxurious experiences I've personally ever heard of.
Absolutely.
I hear there's going to be a natural feature of like a river, and they'll have a bridge over it that you can drive through. There'll be a lot of greenery, a gazebo somewhere on one end, and then you can drive down into the basement.
Absolutely. This is what Fine Urban does best.
And I heard 30 cars. The outside area alone
30 cars.
can fit about 30 cars.
Yes.
And there's still parking?
Yes, for 8 cars in the basement.
I mean, I have no other words. But of course, that's not the only thing that's going to be in the basement.
We will also have a store, a very big store for everything. You know, this massive house needs a store.
Yes.
And we don't want the store in the estate. We call it an estate.
Estate, it's an estate.
Yes. We don't want the store up there for anything.
Yeah, so you want everything easily accessible, you know, everything tucked away. You don't necessarily want to create storage in other areas where you could use that space too.
For something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It just seems like this house keeps going on, and it seems like there's several several different wings. So we've
Yes.
just talked about what feels like the middle area
Yes.
of the house. What's happening on this side?
Actually, there are two sections, and you can see the line separating the two sections.
Yes.
So this is the homey area. From the basement, when you go to the ground floor, you will have your open kitchen, open spaces.
Yeah.
Then on the first floor, you will have your bedrooms. Then on the other side, we have now, let's say, some sort of the entertainment area.
So from what I can see at
Yes.
this level, looking
Yes.
around, looking at the spaces and the partitions that we can see right now,
Yes.
I can tell that we've really allocated big spaces for things like the kitchen, the bedrooms. It's not like I don't see anything looking cramped.
Yes, sure. There are a lot of spaces.
Yeah.
That's why you see we have a lot of supports for all those spaces.
Yes. So from what I hear, this side is going to be the party section of the house. This is where you're going to come if you want to relax, if you want to have fun, if you want to be away from the rest of the house, essentially.
Yes, we have a theater, we have a pool.
Yeah.
Just to mention it, we have two pools.
Two
one at the
pools.
one at the ground level
Yes.
on this section, and then we have another one on the roof.
I feel like we're really going all out. Like I know it's big in size,
Yes.
but it's also very big in ideas.
Yes.
I heard one of them is Olympic sized.
Yes, this one here will be Olympic sized.
Yeah.
And another thing that is key to mention is that this will be a smart building.
Yes.
Even at that section, there will be some nice smartness. And you know what I mean, smart technology-wise.
Yes, of course. You know, as we're moving forward, as we're building these new homes, as we're making them this big and working for clients who are trusting us with such huge projects, we need to make sure that we're keeping up with the times.
Absolutely.
We're not building for right now
Yes.
or last year. We're building for the future.
Futuristic is the
So
word.
we must implement all those smart technologies, which
Yes.
of course, guys, I will be getting into detail more about all the stuff that we're going to be doing into this house. But one of the main things that I've personally heard, I've mentioned big windows. Light is so important,
Yes.
especially when you're building a house this big with so many ideas, with so many different rooms. You need to make sure that we still have that visibility all throughout.
Yes, what we have learned from experience is that these modern houses need a lot of lighting, enough space for everything.
Yes.
And you see this house is huge. It measures almost 60 meters by almost 30 meters.
I'm being here, I can see the size,
Yes.
but when you're telling me those numbers, I don't think I could have imagined.
Yes.
And I hear it's sitting on 6 acres of land.
Yes.
And all these ideas that we're doing have fit snugly into the space.
Yes.
Moving around even now, I don't feel like, okay, anyone who's living in this house is going to have any issues with navigating
No,
or with room. I have to ask you,
Yes.
so far from the ideas you've heard that we have for this house, what's your favorite part? What excites you the most?
The key thing for me is that this is a smart house.
Yes.
It's very rare to see this kind of smart houses where you have everything and you feel like you are in the future.
Yes.
You know? It's for the construction bit, maybe you don't appreciate it, but the ideas that have been put into this house, when you come back later,
Yeah.
you will be surely amazed.
Well, for me, I don't think I could pick one thing. I hear there's an underground club area. I hear there's a sauna.
Yes.
I'm thinking of the views from the rooftop of the pool, just seeing how incredible this layout. I would say, for me, it's the entire house, to be honest.
Yes.
The entire house is absolutely perfect.
You did not mention also a modern theater. Or
Of
is it
course,
theater?
everything
Yes.
sounds tip top and sounds of the highest quality as always.
And you know, for this kind of house, we'll need a lot of water. We told you we'll have a small river.
Yes.
We will also have
The waterfall.
also the swimming pool.
Yes.
So we're also constructing a 300,000 liter tank to supply water.
With this being a retirement home and how I've made sure to really emphasize that we want to make the most out of the property, one of the major things that our client really wanted was enjoyment and relaxation and leisure. So on this structure, we have actually kind of divided the living areas and the entertainment areas. So this entire side of the house is dedicated to having those entertainment areas. You can see that very obviously represented by the inclusion of two pools. You can see we have one right here at the top. We have a full-on lounge area with seating. You can see we have a fire pit over there. I can see the makings of a pergola. We'll see how that will turn out when we go back next time when the project has gone on a bit further. But we were very, very intentional in making the most out of those views. The reason I keep emphasizing that is because we have been on several different properties where we are able to recognize the environment will play such an integral part in beautifying the experience of living in a house, and seeing how that was not taken into account. So that's why I'll keep emphasizing that point, because while you're up here in this pool, this area has the most incredible views of the hills that surround Kibwezi. We have those big open skies, and I can tell you from this render, there's many more clouds than I saw while I was actually on the ground. It's the perfect experience. I would see myself being unable to resist the urge to just go and change into my swimsuit and make the most of this view. It's such a calming experience just being there. So once we have that structure up, I cannot wait to go back and show you guys what it really feels like to be there. And you can see, apart from the pool, of course, I've talked about how we've made it a full lounge area so that we are making the most out of that space. You can just go up there if you want a moment to contemplate, if you want to read a book. It is such a fantastic place, and I love that Fine Urban Construction Interiors always knocks it out of the park in seeing the full potential of an environment and of a house. So in this render, I can also see that we've taken care to kind of showcase some of the textures that we're thinking of implementing in terms of the molding and the lighting. And we'll see that more as we're going through the house. I can see even bits here and there of lighting fixtures that we're planning to include. But this is not the only pool that we have. Obviously, I've shown you guys a glance of the lower level pool, which comes with so many other amenities. So here you have a better view of what is the main pool of the house. I imagine that this is where most of the guests might come because it's much bigger and it's more outdoors. But I honestly feel like either pool would work perfectly for anyone who gets the pleasure of being on this property. But here we have gone all out, as we always do with the main pools of the properties that we usually work on. You can see in the render, we've made sure to include where we intend to put our lounge chairs, but also right over there, we'll have more seats. It has a bit more of the a covering. It's part of the structure. So if you don't want to be in the direct sun, if you're not there sun tanning or something, you could sit there, enjoy your drink as you go in and out of the pool. But what makes that area even better is the fact that we've made sure to make the pool accessible from the main house. You don't have to come from the front door and walk all the way around to the pool. You can just easily access it from that area. Now, with this being another entertainment space, we have built this attachment. It is attached, semi-attached to the main house, but that is essentially a home spa. It's a whole structure that is just made for those things that will bring that sense of leisure and relaxation to the property. So in there, we'll have a sauna, a steam, so that the client really doesn't have to leave their property to go and get these things that they obviously feel like they do need in their lives day to day. Kibwezi is quite the distance, so this will just make the client's life so much easier and make them feel so much more relaxed. So we obviously love including screens where we can, and that's another element of how it might seem scary to have screens in an outdoor space, because you're like, there's so many elements, there's rain, there's so much sunlight with that damage. Some of you might not know, but they are special TVs out there, special screens for outdoor spaces. So when we're doing things like this, I've mentioned Fine Urban always does its research, and we make sure that we are not causing problems. We're offering solutions. So we will have a screen somewhere in this vicinity that people can enjoy while they're enjoying the pool as well. There's so much information that I want to give you guys in terms of the structure. I know I haven't talked about the inside, but with a project this big, we are taking time to make sure that we're hitting all the notes and doing everything to perfection. So in this render, I can just give you an overview of some things that might be attached to some of the rooms, just because it really does play into most of the things that I've talked about in terms of enjoying the environment. So here you can see this is actually the back of the house. You can see that those windows continue, giving the client and whoever's using the house the chance to look outside. But we've also created balconies. These balconies will exist for all of the bedrooms. So as the project goes on and you guys follow along, you will see these things come into fruition, and I'll always go back and point out the things that we've done. So we have a balcony there. I can see what looks like a rather large one right over there. So people can actually come outside and look around, breathe in that fresh air, feel the sunshine on their face, and look up at those wonderful blue skies. I started this video by saying that this project is a game changer, not just in Kenya, but in Africa. We have been working on finding ways to reach out to other African countries, and you've seen us in Uganda, and there's a lot of things that we're working on behind the scenes with other African countries. But I can confidently say, having been on the ground, getting to see this render, which I have mentioned, this is not the final work, but as I know, working with fine urban construction interiors, things always turn out 100 times better than you could have ever imagined. Seeing the size of the land and seeing how we've been able to really add in things that feel true to us as a company, but also true to the client themselves. Seeing how we've added in features that are so quintessentially fine urban construction interiors, but also make sense for the environment and what we're trying to achieve. It is absolutely incredible, and I cannot wait to see where this ends up. And as I've mentioned, we are in no rush. We do not rush any of our projects in just to say we finish something within a certain timeline. We do work with the client, but when you're giving us a project that is this hefty and requires this much creativity, time, and care, we are going to take our time as a company to make sure that we're doing our due diligence. So this is where I'm going to talk to the people who have a dream of building a home, and you guys want to get a good idea of what that might look like when fine urban construction and interiors is doing it for you. This is the project to follow. I mentioned that we started out with a piece of land. We have a video of that on our channel. You can go back and watch that so that you can see what that journey is going to look like. And I guarantee you, I will always do my best to make sure that I'm pointing out all the things that you guys might have questions about. By the end of this project, you will be confident enough to give us a call or reach out to us on social media so that we can work on your project as well.